Maharaj ki Jai. Nitila Pravishtam Vishnupad Rashata Shmad Śrīla Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Śrīla Prabhupada ki Jai. Nitila Pravishtam Vishnupad Rashata Shmad Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Nitila Pravishtam Vishnupad Shmad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada ki Jai. Nitila Pravishta Maha-bhāgavata Śrīla Gokṣaras Babaji Maharaj ki Jai. Nitila Pravishta Śrīla Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Ṭhākura ki Jai. Nitila Pravishta Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Śrīla Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj ki Jai. Shri Rupanu Gauriya Guru Varga ki Jai. Shri Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath. Shri Jeev Gopal Bhattadash Raghunath Shara Goswami Prabhu ki Jai. Shri Sarup Damodar Rai Ramanandari Shri Gaur Parshada Vrinda ki Jai. Namacharya Śrīla Haridas Ṭhākura ki Jai. प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासुरी गौर भक्त वृंद की जाय. श्री क्षेत्र मंडल गौर मंडल व्रज मंडल मथुरा वृंदावन धाम की जाय. सर्व अभिष्ट विरत गिरिराज महाराज की जाय. श्री राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड की जाय. श्री यमुना देवी गंगा देवी की जाय. श्री तुलसी महारानी वृंद देवी की जाय. श्री भक्ति देवी की जाय. श्री पूर्णमासी योगमाया की जाय. श्री गोपेश्वर महादेव की जाय. श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय. श्री सच्चिनंदन गौर हरि की जय. श्री तदीय शुभ आविर्भाव तिथि की जय. श्री गौर पूर्णिमा महा महोत्सव की जय. श्री जगन्नाथ मिश्र की जय. श्री सच्ची माया की जय. श्री विष्णु प्रिय लक्ष्मी प्रिय देवी की जय. श्री मायापुर धाम की जय. श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय. अनंत स्वापार्षद श्री गौर हरि की जय. अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय. समागत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय. श्री निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल. One second. All right. So. One second. All right, so let me share my screen. Hari bol, everybody. Dandavat pranams. Happy Gaur Purnima. Hari bol, Gargaraji and Champak Didi, Raseshwari Mataji. Hari Priya Didi, Indira Mataji, Dandavat Pranams everybody, Hari Bol, Madhavi Didi, Hari Bol. So we're going to be reading from Caitanya-bhāgavata Chapter 2, the Lord's Appearance. This is quite long, it's over 200 verses, and so I don't think I'm going to, this also has the Anubhashya of Śrīla Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, but I probably won't be reading them. Maybe I'll read, like if there's a really special one, I'll read it. But otherwise, I'm just going to be reading the verses and the translation. I'll read the summary also. Chapter 2, The Lord's Appearance, Sri Caitanya-bhāgavata. Śrīla Vṛndāvana Das Ṭhākura ki Jai. This chapter describes the appearance of the Lord's elders and eternal associates by the desire of the Lord, the godless atmosphere of Navadip, Shri Advaita Prabhu's worship of Krishna with water and tulsi leaves, the appearance of Shri Nityananda on the 13th day of the waxing moon, the prayers offered by the demigods to the Lord in the womb, the appearance of Shri Gaurachandra on the full moon night of the month of Falgun amidst the congregational chanting of the holy names, and the joyful celebration of the Lord's appearance. The science of the Supreme Lord and his various incarnations is difficult to understand. What to speak of ordinary living entities, even Lord Brahma cannot fathom this science without the mercy of the Lord. The statement of Lord Brahma in the Śrīmad Bhagavatam is the evidence in this regard. Although the cause of the Supreme Lord's appearance is most confidential, the statements of Bhagavad Gita reveal that Lord Vishnu appears in every millennium in order to protect the pious people, deliver the miscreants, and re-establish the principles of religion. Therefore, the author has pointed out that the chanting of the holy names of Krishna is the religious principle for the age of Kali. Shri Gaur Hari has appeared along with his abode, Shri Navadip, to propagate this Yuga Dharma.
The author also explains that by the will of the Lord, great devotees and eternal associates such as Ananta, Shiva, and Brahma appeared prior to the Lord in various impious families and impious places where the Ganges does not flow and the holy names are not chanted. In this way, such families and places were purified. The author also describes how after the appearance of Sri Gaur Hari, his associates joined him in Navadip to assist in his Sankirtan movement. At the time of the Lord's appearance, Sri Navadip was most prosperous. Millions of people took bath at each of the bathing ghats on the Ganges. By the benedictions of Saraswati and Lakshmi, the residents of Navadip were absorbed in scholastic pursuits and material enjoyment. But there was ample evidence of people's aversion to Lord Krishna. Although it was the beginning of Kali Yuga, people exhibited the behavior foretold for the future of the age. People considered their religious duty was to worship demigods such as Mangal Chandi, Vishahari, and Vashuli. They thought the purpose of having money was to spend it for enjoying the marriage of their sons and daughters, or the marriage of idols. Since the so-called Brahmins and scholars maintains the ass-like mentality of accepting only the gross meaning of the scriptures without understanding the actual purport, when they tried to teach their students, both teachers and students were bound by the ropes of Yamaraj and led to hell. Even the so-called austere renunciates did not chant the names of Hari. Everyone was maddened with pride on account of their high birth, opulence, knowledge, and beauty. Oh, 1 second. Just letting you know, this is written by Śrīla Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Ṭhākura. So, at that time, Sri Advaita Acharya Prabhu, along with pure devotees like Srivas, loudly chanted the names of Lord Hari. But people who were averse to the Lord continually harassed and teased the non-envious pure devotees. When a compassionate Sri Advaita Prabhu saw people's extreme aversion to Krishna cause great distress to the devotees, he began to worship Krishna with water and tulsi, with a vow to bring about the advent of Krishna. Before the advent of Lord Gaur Hari, Sri Nityananda Prabhu, who is non-different from Lord Baladev, the elder brother of Krishna, appeared from the womb of Padmavati, the wife of Harai Pandit, in the village of Eka Chakra in Radesh, on the 13th day of the waxing moon in the month of Magh. Meanwhile, in Navadip, Sri Vishwarup Prabhu, who is non-different from Sri Nityananda Prabhu, appeared as the son of Sachi and Jagannath. He appeared as the son of Sachi and Jagannath after their many daughters had met early deaths. A few years, same Krishna, isn't it? Right before Krishna's birth, so many of his, I'm not sure if it is, brothers, they're all killed. Now, same thing with. A few years after the advent of Vishwarup, Sri Gaur Hari, the original personality of Godhead, appeared in the hearts of Sri Sachi and Jagannath, who are non-different from Devaki and Vasudeva. Understanding this, the demigods offered prayers to Lord Sri Gaur Krishna, the supreme absolute truth and source of all incarnations, who is situated within the womb of Sachi. Sri Gaur Chandra, the inaugurator of the Sankirtan movement, appeared during an eclipse on a full moon night in the month of Falgun, as everyone engaged in the congregational chanting of the names of Hari. This chapter ends with a jubilant celebration of the Lord's advent, accompanied by the chanting of auspicious hymns and the demigods' visits to the house of Sachi in the form of human beings. Let me just check here. Hari Bo, Rup Manjari Didi, and Rohit Radhakrishnan-ji, and Prajumna Prabhu, and Mantramurti Mataji. Dandavat pranams, everybody. So now we begin. Caitanya-bhāgavata Ādi-khaṇḍa Chapter 2. Is the background too noisy? If it's way too noisy outside, I can close my doors and my door and window. But if you can tolerate it, yeah, that's good. But otherwise, I'm happy to do that. Jaya Jaya Mahaprabhu Gaura Sundar, Jaya Jaya Mahaprabhu Gaura Sundar, Jaya Jagannatha Putra Mahamaheshwar. I wonder if I should play Mridanga for all the things. That might make it kind of fun. I'm gonna do it. 1 second. All glories to Mahaprabhu Shri Gaur Sundar. All glories to the son of Jagannath Misha, the Lord of all lords. Jaya Nityananda Gadadhara Rajivan, Jaya Advaita Dibhak, Jaya Jaya Advaita Dibhaktera Sharan. All glories to the life and soul of Nityananda and Gadadhar. All glories to the shelter of the devotees headed by Advaita Prabhu. Bhakta Goshti Sahita Gauranga Jai Jai, Shunila Chaitanya Kata Bhakti Labhya Hoy. All glories to Lord Gauranga along with his associates. By hearing the topics of Sri Chaitanya, one attains devotional service to the Lord. Bhakta Sanghe Prabhupada Namaskar, Spuruka Jivai Gora Chandra Avatar. I again offer my obeisances at the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya and his devotees. Let the topics of Sri Gaur Chandra become manifest on my tongue. Jaya Jaya Shri Karuna, Jaya Jaya Shri Karuna Sindhu Gaura Chandra, Jaya Jaya Shri Seva Vigraha Nityananda. All glories to Shri Gaur Chandra, the ocean of mercy. All glories to Shri Nityananda Prabhu, the personification of devotional service. One second, I'm just checking. Okay, Manjari says it adds atmosphere. Okay, cool. You can hear some of the background sounds, but okay. Avigyata tattva dui bhai ara bhakta, atatapi kripai tattva korena subhyakta. Although the truths of the two brothers and their devotees are incomprehensible, they can be realized by the mercy of their lordships. Shri Krishna, Chaitanya and Nityananda. Brahmadira spurti hoy Krishna rakripai, Sarva Shastre Vede Bhagavata Egai. The knowledge of personalities like Lord Brahma is enhanced by the mercy of Lord Krishna. This is confirmed in all scriptures such as the Vedas and the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. Prachodita Jeno Pura Sarasvati Vitan Vata Jasya Satim Smritam. Oh, it's a Sanskrit verse. Prachodita Yena Pura Sarasvati Vitan Vata Jasya Satim Smritim Hridi Salakshana Pradurabhut Kilasyata Same Rishinam Rishibha Prasidatam. May the Lord, who in the beginning of creation amplified the potent knowledge of Brahma from within his heart and inspired him with full knowledge of creation and of his own self, and who appeared to be generated from the mouth of Brahma, be pleased with me. This is from Śrīmad Bhāgavatam 2:4-22. When Maharaj, this is Anubhashya of Śrīla Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Ṭhākura. When Maharaj Parikshit inquired from Shukadev Goswami about Lord Hari's pastimes of creation, Shri Shukadev Goswami first remembered the Supreme Lord and then offered his prayers, such as this verse from the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. There are many passages in the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam that describe how Lord Brahma, the original spiritual master in the Brahma Sampradaya, heard Śrīmad Bhāgavatam from the ripened fruit of the Vedas from Lord Narayan. I'm going to skip this. Yeah. Apurve Brahma janmilena nabi parma hoite, atatapi hashakti nai kichui dekite, atabe jabe sarva bhave loila sharan, tabe prabhu kripai dile akripaya dilena darashan, tabe Krishna kripaya spurila saraswati, Tabe Shejanila Sarva Avatara Stiti. In the beginning of the creation, Lord Brahma was born from the lotus sprouted from the navel of Lord Vishnu. Still, he had no power to see anything. When Brahma took full shelter of the Lord, then out of compassion, the Lord appeared before him. Then, by the mercy of Krishna, Brahma received transcendental knowledge so that he could understand the various incarnations of the Supreme Lord. Heno Krishna Chandra Durgeya Avatar Tana Kripa Vinekaro Shakti Janibar. Lord Krishna's incarnations are very difficult to understand. Who has the power to understand them without his mercy? Achintya agamya Krishna avatara lila Ashe Brahma Bhagavate apane kahila. In the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, Lord Brahma concludes that the pastimes of Krishna's incarnations are inconceivable and inaccessible. Ko veti bhumam bhagavan paratman yogeshvarotir bhavatas trilokyam kvava katam va kativa kadeti Vistarayan Dasi Yogamayam. O Supreme Great One, O Supreme Personality of Godhead, O Supersoul, Master of all mystic power, your pastimes are taking place continuously in these three worlds. But who can estimate where, how, and when you are employing your spiritual energy and performing these innumerable pastimes? No one can understand the mystery of how your spiritual energy acts. This is from Śrīmad Bhāgavatam 10:14-21. Oops. This verse was spoken by Lord Brahma. Kaun hetu Krishna Chandra kore avatar akara shakti achitatva janite tahar. Who has the ability to know why Krishna Chandra incarnates? Tatapi Shri Bhagavate Gitaya je koi tahaliki jenimite avatara hoy. Still, I am giving whatever reasons are described in the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam and the Bhagavad Gita. Just looking. Okay. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyutanam adharmasya tadatmanam srajamyaham. Wherever and whenever there is a decline in religious practice, O descendant of Bharata, and a predominant rise of irreligion, at that time I descend myself. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya chadushkritam dharma sangstapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. To deliver the pious and to annihilate the miscreants, as well as to re-establish the principles of religion, I myself appear millennium after millennium. Dharma para bhava hoy jokhane adharmera prabalata bade dine dine o sadhu jana rakha dushta vinashakarane brahmadi prapura pai kore vigyapane. Whenever there is a decline in religious principles and irreligion becomes more prominent day by day, at that time, the demigods, headed by Brahma, pray at the feet of the Lord to protect the sadhus and destroy the miscreants. Tabe Prabhu Yuga Dharma Stapana Korite Sango Pange Avatirna Hana Pritivite. The Lord then appears in this material world with his associates and paraphernalia in order to re-establish the principles of religion. Kali Juge Dharma Hoy Hari Sankirtan Etararpatirna Shishachinandan. The religious principle for the age of Kali is the congregational chanting of the holy names of the Lord. Shri Shachinandan incarnates to establish this principle. Eko he Bhagavata Sarva Tattva Sar Kirtananimita Gaura Chandra Avatar. It is stated in the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam that the Supreme Absolute Truth, Lord Gaurachandra, incarnates to propagate the chanting of the holy names. Iti Dvapara urvisha stuvanti jagadishvaram nana tantra vidhanena kalavapi tatashrinu. This is from Śrīmad Bhāgavatam 11.5 verses 31 to 32. This is verse 31 and the next verse will be from verse 32. O king, in this way people in Dvapar Yuga glorified the Lord of the universe. In Kali Yuga also, people worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead by following religious regulations of the revealed scriptures. Now kindly hear of this from me. And so this is the next verse. Krishna Varnam Tisha Krishnam Sangopangastra Parshadam Yagyai Sankirtana Prayar Yajanti Hi Sumedasaha. This is the next verse in the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. In the age of Kali, intelligent persons perform congregational chanting to worship the incarnation of Godhead, who constantly sings the names of Krishna. Although his complexion is not blackish, he is Krishna himself. He is accompanied by his associates, servants, weapons, and confidential companions. And each one of these, oh God, let's see if I can remember. His upangas, his angas, first, sa anga. His angas are Nityananda and Advaita. His upangas are Gadadhar Pandit and Surup Damodar, I'm guessing. His astra is Harinam Sankirtan, and his parshads are devotees like Srivas Pandit and others. I think that's correct, but I don't know. Anyways, this is Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, 11th canto. Does it explain here? Anyways. I don't see the explanation here of that. Kali Yuge Sarva Dharma Hari Sankirtan Saba Prakashilena Caitanya Narayan. Lord Chaitanya inaugurated the congregational chanting of the holy names as the essence of all religious principles for the age of Kali. Kali Yuge Sankirtana Dharma Pali Bare Avatirna Hoilo Prabhu Sarva Parikare. In Kali Yuga, the Lord incarnates with his associates in order to maintain the religious principle of Sankirtan. Aprabhura Agaya Ge Sarva Parikar Janma Labilena Sabe Manusha Bhitar. On the order of the Lord, all of his associates took birth in human society. Ki Ananta Ki Shiva Virinchi Rishi Gan Jata Avatarera Parshada Apta Gan. Ananta, Shiva, Brahma, various sages, and associates of all the Lord's previous incarnations all took birth as great devotees. Bhagavata Rupe Janma Hoilo Sabar Krishna Se Jane Na Jar Ang Se Janma Jar. Only Gaur Krishna knew which associate took birth as which devotee. Karo Janma Navadipe Karo Chatti Grame Keho Rare Odhra Deshe Shri Hate Paschime. Some took birth in Navadip, some in Chattagram, some in Radhadesh, some in Orissa, some in Srihata, and some in the west. I'll read this commentary. We could hear the associates. 1 second. Okay. Many commentary by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada. Many devotees of the Lord, such as Srila Gadadhar Pandit Goswami, Sri Jagadananda Pandit Goswami, Pandit Sadashiva, Gangadas Shuklambar, Sridhar, Purushottam, Sanjay, Hiranya, and Jagadish appeared in Navadip. Srila Pundarik Vidyanidhi, Acharya Nidhi or Prema Nidhi, I didn't know those other names, Shri Vasudev Datta Ṭhākura and his brother Mukunda Datta appeared in the village of Chatigram, presently known as Chattagram. Radhadesh refers to the places on the western side of the Ganges. Shri Nityananda Prabhu appeared in the village of Ekachakra or Virachandrapur in the district of Birbhum. Shri Satyaraj Khan and Shri Ramananda Vasu appeared in the village of Kulina in the district of Vardhaman. Shri Mukunda, Shri Narahari, Shri Raghunandan, Chiranjeev, and Sulochan appeared at Shri Khanda. Many devotees like Shri Govinda, Shri Madhava, Shri Vasudev Ghosh, Dvija Haridas, and Dvija Vaninath Brahmachari appeared at Agradweep. The word Odhra in this verse refers to Utkal, the state of Orissa, which is described in statements like blah blah blah. Shri Bhavananda Rai and his sons, headed by Shri Ramananda Rai, Shri Vaninath and Gopinath, as well as Shri Shiki Mahiti, Shri Madhavi Devi, Murari Mahiti, Paramananda Mahapatra, Orissa Shivananda, Patra Parudra, Kashi Mishra, Prajumna Mishra, and many other devotees appeared there. Shri Hatta is presently situated in the state of Assam, which is adjacent to Bengal. Many devotees like Shivas Pandit, Shri Rama Pandit, Shri Chandrasekhar Acharya, Shri Jagannath Mishra, and Shri Advaita Prabhu appeared in this district. The word Paschime indicates the place presently known as Trihut. Shri Paramananda Puri and Shri Raghupati Upadhyaya appeared at this place. They were both disciples of Srila Madhavendra Puripad and very intimate associates of Sriman Mahaprabhu. Nanastane avatirna hoilo bhaktagan, anavadipe asi hoilo sabara milan. Although the devotees appeared in different places, they all gathered in Navadvip. Sarva Vaishnavera Janma Navadipa Dhame, Kono Mahapriya Daser Janma Anyastane. Most of the Vaishnavas took birth in Navadip, and some beloved associates appeared elsewhere. Shri Vasa Pandita Ar, Shri Rama Pandita, Shri Chandrasekhara Deva Trailokya Pujita. Shivas Pandit, Shri Rama Pandit, and Shri Chandrasekhar are worshipped throughout the three worlds. Purport. Shivas and Shri Ram are described in Shri Kavi Karnapur's Gaur Ganodashtipika as follows. The most intelligent Shivas Pandit is none different from Shri Narad Muni. Shri Parvat Muni, who is very dear to Narad Muni, has now appeared as Shri Rama Pandit, the younger brother of Shivas Pandit. Cool. Shriman Chandrasekhar Dev was the Lord's devotee uncle, husband of Shachi's sister. According to Gaur Ganodashtipika, he is one of the 9 Nidhis, or Chandra. Shriman Mahaprabhu. Alright. Interesting. The place where Chandrasekhar's house was situated is now known as Vrajapatan. The huge octagonal temple known as Sri Chaitanya Mat is situated at this place. The original Akara Mataraj, Sri Chaitanya Mat. Bhavaroga Vaidya Shri Murari Namajar, Shri Hatta Isaba Vaishnavera Avatar. They, along with Shri Murari Gupta, who cures the living entities of their material disease, all took birth in Shri Hatta. Pundarika Vidyanidhi Vaishnava Pradhan, Caitanya-bhāgavata Vasudevanam, Achati Grame Hoilo, Iha Sabara Parakash, Purane Hoila Avatirna Haridas. Pundarik Vidyanidhi, the topmost Vaishnav, Chaitanya Vallabh, and Vasudev Datta all appeared in Chattagram. Haridas Thakur appeared in the village of Bhudan. Pundarik Vidyanidhi is described in Gaur Ganodashtipika as King Vrishabhanu. Srimati Radhika's father. Arara maje eka chakra namak ache gram jahi avatirna Nityananda Bhagavan. The Supreme Lord Nityananda Prabhu appeared in the village of Ekachakra in Radha Desh. Harai Pandita Nam Shuddha Vipraraj Mule Sarva Pita Tane Kore Pita Vyaj. The exalted Harai Pandit was the king of the Brahmins. He was accepted as the father of Lord Nityananda, who is the original father of all. Kripa Sindhu Bhakti Datta Shri Vaishnava Dham Radhe Avatirna Hoila Nityananda Ram. The ocean of mercy, the giver of devotional service, and the shelter of all Vaishnavas, Sri Nityananda Ram, appeared in the Radha Desh. Mahajaya Jaya Dani Pushpavarishan Sangope Devata Gane Koilena Tokon. At the time of Nityananda's appearance, all the demigods secretly showered flowers and chanted Jai Jai. Shaydina hoite Radha Mandala Sakal Puna Puna Barite Lagi Sukal. From that day on, the land of Radha began to prosper and signs of auspiciousness became visible. Commentary. After the appearance of Lord Nityananda Prabhu, the barren areas of Gauda Desh began to prosper. Gradually, the entire Radha Desh of advanced learning and culture. Hute Paramananda Puriyash Nila Chale Jar Sekatra Vilas. Paramananda Puri pastimes with the Lord Nilachal appeared in Trihuta. Vaishnava Janmaya Kene Shocha Deshete. Ganga Tira Punyastana Sakala Thakite Vaishnava Janmaya Kene Shocha Deshete Apane Hoila Avatirna Ganga Tire Asangera Parshade Kene Janmayena Dure. The banks of the Ganges are most sanctified. Why then would a Vaishnav take birth at an impious place? The Lord appeared on the bank of the Ganges, so why did his associates appear in distant places? Jai Jai Desha Ganga Hari Nama. Sorry, this is a Sanskrit verse. Ye Desha Ganga Hari Nama Vivarjita. Ye Desha Pandita. Ye Desha Pandava Nahi Gelo Kadachit. Se Sab Jivere Krishna Vatsal. Wait, this is Bengali. Sorry, guys. Jai Jai Desha Ganga Hari Nama Vivarjita Ajay Deshe Pandava Nahi Gelo Kadachit Ashe Sab Jivere Krishna Vatsala Hoya Mahabhakta Saba Janmayena Agyadiya. Out of compassion, Lord Krishna ordered his great devotees to appear in places where the Ganges does not flow, where the holy names are not chanted, and where the Pandavas did not visit. Sangsara tarite Shri Caitanya avatar apane Shri Mukhe kori yachenangikar. Shri Chaitanya descended to deliver the entire universe. He affirmed this with his own words. What are those words? Shocha deshe shocha kule apana saman janmaiya vaishnave sabare koretran. Oh, never mind, doesn't give it. The Lord had his devotees who are equal to him appear at impious places and in impious families in order to deliver everyone. Jai deshe jai kule Vaishnavavatare tahara prabhave laksha lojana nistare. In whatever place or family a Vaishnava appears, people for hundreds of thousands of miles around are all delivered. যে স্থানে বৈষ্ণবগণ করেন বিজয়, সে স্থান হয় অতি পুণ্য তীর্থময়. Wherever the Vaishnavas go, that place becomes a sanctified place of pilgrimage. It's a very common verse. Bhavad Vidya Bhagavatas Tirtha Bhutta Swayam Vivo Tirti Kurvanti Tirtani Swantastena Gada Vrittaha. My Lord, devotees like your good self are verily holy places personified. Because you carry the personality of Godhead within your heart, you turn all places into places of pilgrimage. Attayeva sarva deshe nija bhaktagan avatirna koila Shri Caitanya Narayan. Therefore, Shri Caitanya had his devotees appear in all different countries. Nanastane avatirna hoila bhaktagan Navadipe asi sabar hoilo milan. Although the devotees appeared in various places, they all met together in Navadip. Navadipe hoibo prabhura avatar Atayeva Navadipa milana sabar. Because the Lord would appear in Navadip, the devotees all gathered together there. Navadipa heno grama tribhuvane nai Jahi avartirna koila Caitanya Gosai. There is no place in the three worlds like Navadip where Lord Shri Caitanya appeared. Avatari bena prabhu janiya vidhata Sakala sampurna kori tuilena tata. Knowing that the Lord would appear, Providence arranged all prosperity and opulence in advance. Navadipa sampati ke varni bare pare eko ganga ghate lakha lokasnana kore. Who can describe the opulences of Navadip? 100,000 people would take bath at one bathing ghat. Vividavayashe eka jati lakha lakha Saraswati prasade sabe mahadakha. By the merciful glance of Saraswati, the goddess of learning, hundreds of thousands of children, youths, and old people were expert in the scriptures. Sabe maha adhyapaka kori garva dhare abalakeo bhattacharya sanelaka kore. They were all proud of being great scholars. Even a young boy would challenge his teacher. Nana de hoite loka navadipa jai Navadipe porile se vidyarasa pai. Many people would come from various provinces to study in Navadip, because by studying there, one achieved a taste for education. Atayeva paruara nahi samuchay lakakoti adhyapaka nahi konishchoy. Therefore, no one could count the innumerable students and millions of teachers gathered there. Rama drishti pate sarva loka sukha Rama drishti pate sarva loka sukhe vase Vyartha kala jai matra vyavahara rase. By the merciful glance of Rama, the goddess of fortune, everyone lived happily there, but they wasted their time in mundane activities. Krishna Rama Bhakti Shunya Sakala Sansar Pratama Kalite Hoilo Bhavishya Achar. The whole universe was devoid of devotion to Krishna and Balaram, and future symptoms of the age of Kali became manifest in the beginning of the age. Dharma karma loka sabe e matra jane Mangala chandira gite kore jagarane. People's religion consisted of fruitive activities, and they would stay awake through the night, chanting prayers to Mangal Chandi, goddess Durga. Dam kori vishahari puje kona jan, putali karaye ke ho diya bahudhan. People proudly worshipped Vishahari, the goddess of snakes. Others spent great wealth in idol worship. Dhana nashta kore putra kanya ravi bhai E mata jagatera vyartha kala jai. People squandered money on marriages of their sons and daughters. In this way, they wasted their human lives. Jai Bhatacharya Chakravarti Mishra Sab Taharao na jane sab granta anubhav. Even the so-called scholars, the Bhattacharyas, Chakravarti, and Mishras, did not know the real purport of the scriptures. Shastra paraya sabe karma kore, shrotara sahita jama pashe dubi more. And even after teaching the scriptures, the teachers still engaged in such activities. As a result, both the teachers and the students were punished by Yamaraj. Nabakane yuga dharma krishnera kirtan, dosha bina guna karo na kore kathan. They never explained the religious principle for the age, chanting the holy names of the Lord. They only found faults with others. They never glorified anyone. Jeva saba virakta tapasvi abhimani, tasabara mukhe ho nahi ko haridhani. All the so-called renunciates and ascetics never chanted the names of Hari. Oh, actually, instead of scrolling, I can just type text and go to next. Oops. Did I lose my place? No! I lost my place. Shoot. Where were we? What was the word? What was the word that we just read? I should have looked at the number. I think we're around here, right? So sorry about that, guys. Yeah, I think we already read this, right? Yes, we read this. Actually, I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, we already read this. And even after teaching this, right? Sorry, guys. That was a mistake of mine. I was trying to save time and I ended up wasting time. Yeah, we already read this. Okay. Okay, it's text 68, but let me just try this. Then I don't need to keep on scrolling. Okay, there. Nabakane juga dharma krishnera kirtan doshabina guna karo na kore katan. I think we already read that. They never explained the religious principle for the age, chanting the holy names of the Lord. They only found faults with others. They never glorified anyone. Jeva saba viraktapta pasvi abhimani tasabara mukhe ho nahi ko haridhani. Oh, we already read this. All the so-called renunciates and ascetics never chanted the names of Hari. Ati boro sukriti se snanera samay Govinda pundarikaksha nama ucharay. Only the most pious people would recite the names of Pundarikaksha and Govinda at the time of taking bath. Ādi-khaṇḍa je je janete parai bhakti ravyakhyana nahi tahara jivai. Even when someone explained the Bhagavad Gita or Śrīmad Bhagavatam, they would not mention anything about devotional service to the Lord. E mata Vishnu Maya mohita sansar deki bhakta sabaduka bhavena apar. Seeing the entire world illusioned by the Lord's external energy in this way, all the devotees felt unlimited distress. Kemone e jiva saba pai be udar vishaya sukhete saba mojilo sansar. They thought, how will these people be delivered? The whole world is simply absorbed in material enjoyment. Boli leo keho nahi loy Krishna nam niravadi vidyakula korena vyakhyan. People will not chant the names of Krishna even if they are instructed. Rather, they constantly glorify their education and good birth. Swakarya korena sabha bhagavata gan, Krishna puja ganga snana, Krishna rakatan. The great devotees, however, followed their prescribed duties like worshipping Krishna, bathing in the Ganges, and discussing topics of Krishna. Sabe meli jagat tere kore ashirvad, Shigra Krishna Chandra koro sabare prasad. They all bestowed their blessings on the people of the world and prayed, O Krishna Chandra, please quickly bestow mercy on these people. She Navadipa Vaise Vaishnavagranya Agraganya Advaita Acharya Nam Sarvaloke Dhanya. Residing in Navadvip at that time was Advaita Acharya, the topmost Vaishnav, who is glorified throughout the world. Jnana Bhakti Vairagyara Mukha Mukhyata O Guru Mukhyatar O Krishna Bhakti Bhakanite Jehena Sankar. Shri Advaita Acharya was the most respected teacher. He was as expert as Lord Shiva in explaining the devotional service of Lord Krishna with knowledge and renunciation. Tribhuvane ache jata shastra prachar sarvatra vakhane Krishna pada bhakti sar. Oops, I didn't read the translation. He explained all the scriptures that are found in the three worlds and concluded that devotional service to the lotus feet of Krishna is the essence of all teachings. Tulasi manjira sahita ganga jale niravadi seve Krishna niravadi seve Krishna mahakutuhale. Shri Advaita Acharya would enthusiastically worship Krishna with tulsi manjaris and Ganges water. The commentary. The Gautamiya Tantra is quoted in the Hari Bhakti Vilas as follows: Tulasi dalamatrena jalasya chulukena va vikrinite swam atmanam bhaktebhyo bhaktavatsala. Shri Krishna, who is very affectionate toward his devotees, sells himself to a devotee who offers merely a tulsi leaf and a palm full of water. Various foodstuffs are offered to Krishna with tulsi manjaris, which are dear to Krishna, and Ganges water, which purifies the world. Shri Advaita Prabhu began to continuously worship Krishna with such ingredients in order to amend the polluted form of Dwapar Yuga, worship practiced at the time. His intention was that the living entities would give up sense gratification and become devotees by seeing behavior of the pure Mahajans. Hunkara koroye Krishna avashere teje Je Dwani Brahmanda Bhedi Vaikunte Te Baje. He loudly called for Krishna in great spiritual ecstasy. That sound vibration pierced the covering of the universe and was heard in the Vaikunta planets. Hunkara means roaring, loud roaring. Ha, hunkar. Je premera hunkara shuniya Krishna nath bhakti vashe apane je hoila shakshat. On hearing Advaita Prabhu's cries of love, Lord Krishna personally appeared, for he is controlled by the love of his devotees. Commentary. The Lord of Sri Advaita Prabhu, Sri Krishna, heard Advaita's loud cries of love, and to fulfill his prayer and accept his pure service, the Lord appeared for the benefit of Advaita Prabhu's followers. Ataeva Advaita Vaishnava Agraganya Nikhila Brahmande Jar Bhakti Yoga Dhanya. Therefore, Advaita Acharya is the best of all Vaishnavas. There is no comparison to his devotional service in the entire universe. Commentary. For all these reasons, Sri Advaita Prabhu is the first and foremost of the Vaishnavas. He is famous as the topmost devotee in the entire universe. In this world, there is no devotee engaged in the service of Hari like him. He is personally Vishnu Tattva, and as an Acharya, He is an incarnation of a devotee, and as good as Hari. E mata advaita vaisena nadiyai, o bhakti yoga shunya loka deki dukkha pai. In this way, Advaita Acharya resided in Nadia in great distress due to people's lack of devotion. Shakala sangsara mata vyavahara rase, Krishna puja Krishna bhakti karo nahi base. Everyone in the entire world was engaged in materialistic activities. No one was engaged in worshipping or serving Krishna. Vasuli pujaye keho nana upahare, madhyamangsa diya keho yaksha puja kore. Some people worshipped Vashuli, Chandi or Durga with various ingredients, and some people worshipped the yakshas with meat and wine. Oops, I'm supposed to click next. 1 second, I'm just curious if I did one thing right. Haribo Rukmini Didi. Okay, good. Hare Krishna Shah Sharmaji. Where am I? Sorry. My brain's a little bit not working right now because I didn't sleep very much. Niravadi nritta gita vadya kola holo nashuni krishnera naam paramamanga. People would continuously dance, sing, and play musical instruments in a great commotion, but they never heard the supremely auspicious names of Krishna. Krishna shunya mangale devera nahi suk, vishesha advaita mone pai boro duk. The devotees headed by Advaita Acharya were distressed on seeing the people engaged in so-called auspicious activities that were not related to Krishna. Sabhabe Advaita boro karunya hridoy, jivera udara chinte hoya sadoy. By nature, the heart of Advaita Acharya was full of compassion, so he mercifully contemplated how to deliver the living entities. Mor Prabhu asi jadi kore avatar, tabe hoy e sakala jivera udhar. If my Lord descends, then all these fallen souls would be delivered. Tabeto Advaita Singha Amara Barai, Vaikunta Valabhajadi Dekaya Hetai. My name, Advaita Singha, will be justified when I cause the descent of the beloved Lord of Vaikunta. Aniya Vaikunta Nata Shakshata Koriya, Nachibo Gaibo Sarva Jiva Udhariya. I will make the Lord of Vaikunta appear in this world, and we will dance, chant, and thus deliver the fallen living entities. Niravadi e mata sankalpa koriya, asebena Shri Krishna pada ekachitta hoya. With this determination, Advaita Acharya constantly served the lotus feet of Shri Krishna Chandra with a fixed mind. Advaita karane Caitanya-bhāgavata, Shri Prabhu kohiya chena bar bar. Lord Chaitanya repeatedly confirms that he incarnated due to the desire of Shri Advaita Prabhu. Shri Navadipa Boise Pandita Shivas, Jahara Mandire Hoilo Chaitanya Vilas. Shivas Pandit resided in Navadip. Lord Chaitanya enjoyed many pastimes in his house. Sarvakala Chari Bai Gai Krishna Naam, Trikala Karaye Krishna Puja Ganga Snan. Shivas Pandit and his 3 brothers continually chanted the names of Krishna. They would take 3 baths daily in the Ganga and then worship Lord Krishna. নিগুড়ে অনেকা আর বৈসে না দিয়ায় পূর্বে সবে জন্মিলে না ঈশ্বর আজ্ঞায় শ্রী চন্দ্রশেখর জগদীশ গোপীনাথ শ্রীমান মুরারি শ্রী গরুদ Gangadas. Many other devotees lived incognito in Nadia. By the will of the Lord, Sri Chandrasekhar, Jagadish Gopinath, Shriman Pandit, Murari Gupta, Sri Garuda Pandit, never heard of him, and Gangadas all took birth before the Lord. Eke eke bolite hoy pustaka vistar, Kathara prastave naam loy bojani jar. Sorry. If I listed the names of all the devotees, this book would increase in size. So I will mention those names that I know at the appropriate time. Sabe swadharma paro, sabe udar, Krishna bhakti boy ke ho na janaye aar. All these devotees were engaged in their prescribed duties. They were all magnanimous, and they knew nothing other than the devotional service of Lord Krishna. Sabe kore sabare bandhav vyavahar, keho karo na jane na anijaya-avatar. They all had friendly relations with each other, although they were unaware of each other's identity. Commentary. Relatives and friends cooperated with the devotees in the service of the Lord. Those relatives and friends of the devotees forgot themselves as they developed friendship with the devotees according to their own tastes. Vishnu bhakti shunya deki sakala sansar, antare dahaye boro chitta sabakar. The hearts of these devotees burned on, seeing the people of the world devoid of devotion to Lord Vishnu. Krishna katha shuni beka he no nahi jan, apana apani sabe kore na kirtan. Because they could not find anyone interested in hearing topics of Lord Krishna, they would engage in kirtan by themselves. Dui chari danda thaki adita sabhai, Krishna katha prasange sakala dukha jai. They would remain together for a couple hours in the house of Advaita Prabhu and mitigate their distress with topics of Krishna. One second. Dagda deke sakala sangsara bhaktagan, alapera sthana nahi korena krantan. Oops. The devotees felt that the entire world was burning, and they felt sorry because they could not find anyone to speak with. Sakala Vaishnava meli apani advaita, prani matra kare keho nare bhujaite. Hey, that didn't rhyme. Shri Advaita Acharya, along with the other Vaishnavas, tried to preach to the people, but they could not understand anything. Dukkha bhabi advaita kore na upavas, sakala Vaishnava gane chare dirga swas. In distress, Advaita Acharya fast, and the Vaishnavas sighed deeply. Keno va Krishnera nrita, keno va kirtan, kare va Vaishnava boli, kiba sankirtan. People did not know why the devotees danced for Krishna or chanted his names. They could not understand who was a Vaishnava or what the purpose of Sankirtan was. Kichu nahi jane loka dhana putra ashe, sakla pashandi meli Vaishnavere hase. People could not understand any of these things because their hearts were filled with desires for wealth and children. All the atheists would laugh at the Vaishnavas. Chari bai Shiva samili anija gare, nisha hoile hari nama gai uchai sware. Every evening, Shivas Pandit and his three brothers would loudly chant the names of Hari in their house. Shuniya pashandi bole hoilo pramad, e brahmana koribeka gramera utsar. On hearing this chanting, the atheists would remark, What madness! This Brahman, Shivas, will ruin this village. Mahativra narapati javana ihar, e akyana shunile pramadana diyar. The Mohammedan king is very cruel by nature. If he hears about this kirtan, the whole district will suffer. Keho bole e brahmane e grame hoite, ghara bhangi ghuchaiya felaimu srote. Someone else said, I'll drive this Brahman out of town, break his house, and throw it in the Ganges. E bamune ghuchaile gramera mangal, anyataya vane grama koribe korolo. If we get rid of this Brahman, then it will be good for the village. Otherwise, the Yavanas will take over the town. E mata bole jata pashandira gan, shuni Krishna boli kande bhagavata gan. Hearing the atheists speak in this way, the devotees began to cry and chant Krishna's name. Shuniya advaita krode agni heno jwale, digambara hoy sarva vaishnavere bole. When Advaita Acharya heard these things, he became as angry as fire. Neglecting whether he was dressed properly, he spoke to all the Vaishnavas. Shuno Shini Vasa Ganga Dasa Shuklambar, Koraibo Krishna Sarva Nayana Gochar, Saba Udhari Be Krishna Yapane Asiya, Bhujai Krishna Bhakti Toma Sabaloya. Listen, Shivas, Gangadas, and Shuklambar. I will make Krishna descend for all to see. He will personally come and deliver one and all by preaching devotional service with your help. Jabe nahi paro tabe e deha hoite, prakashya chari bhuja chakra loy mohate. If I fail to do this, then I will manifest 4 arms and take up my disc. Pashandire katiya kori muskandanash, tabe Krishna Prabhu mora muitara das. I will sever the heads of the atheists, and then it will be confirmed that Krishna is my Lord and I am his servant. E mata advaita bole na anukhan, sankalpa koriya puje Krishnera charan. In this way, Shri Advaita Acharya constantly worshipped the lotus feet of Krishna with great determination. Bhakta saba niravadi ekachitta hoya, puje Krishna pada parma krandana koriya. The other devotees also shed tears as they all constantly worshipped Krishna with fixed determination. Sarva Navadipe Brahme Bhagavata Gan, Akothao na shune bhakti yogera katan. As the devotees wandered through Navadip, they never heard any topics concerning devotional service. Keho duke chahe nija sharira edite, Keho Krishna boli swasa charaye kandite. Seeing the people's pathetic condition, some of the devotees wanted to give up their bodies, while other devotees sighed deeply as they called out the name of Krishna and cried. Anna bhalo mate karo naru chaye muke, jagatera vyavahara deki pai duke. The devotees became so unhappy by seeing people's behavior that they lost their desire to eat. Charilena bhaktagan sarva upabhog, avatari bhare prabhu korila udyog. As the devotees gave up all material comforts, the Supreme Lord prepared to Advent. Ishvara agyay ageshi ananta dham, Radhe avatirna hoila nityananda ram. By the order of the Lord, Shri Nityananda Ram, who is non-different from Ananta, first appeared in Radha Desh. Magha mase shukla trayodashi shubha dine Parmavati garbe eka chaka nama grame Harai pandita nameshu Shuddha vipraraj Mole sarva pita tane kore pita vyaj. Oops, forgot to read this. He appeared from the womb of Padmavati in the village of Eka Chakra on the auspicious 13th day of the waxing moon in the month of Magh. The Lord, who is the original father of everyone, accepted Harai Pandit, the king of Brahmins, as his father. Kripa Sindhu Bhakti Tata Prabhu Balaram Avatirna Hoilo Dari Nityananda Ram. Lord Balaram is an ocean of mercy and the bestower of devotional service. He appeared as Sri Nityananda Prabhu. Mahajaya Jaya Dani Pushpa Varishan Sangope Devatagan Gorila Takan. Invisible to humans, the demigods loudly chanted, Jai, Jai, and showered flowers. Se dina hoite, se dina hoite Radha Mandala Sakal, Barite lagilo puna puna sumangal. From that day on, the district of Radhadesh became filled with prosperity. Just like Nityananda Prabhu or Baladev Prabhu, they're the Adhar Shakti, they're the container, the pot, the platform on which Krishna performs his pastimes. So before Krishna appears, Baladev appears as like Balaram appears in Vrindavan, makes it so beautiful, all the plants and flowers, creepers, all the people, and then he sets the scene for Krishna to appear. So in the same way, Nityananda Prabhu appears before Mahaprabhu. By the appearance of Sri Nityananda, the whole of Radhadesh gradually became filled with auspiciousness. Jai Prabhu Patita Jane Nistara Karite Avadhuta Vesha Dhori Brahmila Jagate. In order to deliver the fallen souls, Nityananda Prabhu appeared in the dress. He accepted the dress of a mendicant and traveled throughout the world. Anantera prakara hoila hena mate ebe shuno Krishna avatarila jeno mate. This is the description of Lord Ananta's appearance. Now please hear how Krishna made his appearance. Alright, so now we come to it. Just checking everything's going good on here. Looks like it. Alright. Hare Krishna Vinod Kumar. Alright. Anant. Okay, so let's hear Krishna. Okay, so now it begins. Navadipe ache Jagannatha Mishravar Vasudeva Praite ho Swadharme Tatpar. Shri Jagannath Mishra lived in Navadip. He was just like Vasudeva, and he was expert in following his prescribed duties. Udara charitra teho brahmanya rasima heno nahi jahadiya koriba upama. He was greatly magnanimous and the best of the Brahmins. Indeed, I can find no comparison to him. Navadipe ache Jagannatha Mishravar Vasudeva praite ho Swadharme Tatpar. Didn't we just read this? Shri Jagannath Mishra lived in Navadip. We didn't. He was just like Vasudeva, and he was expert in following his prescribed duties. Udara charitra teho brahmanya rasima heno nahi jahadiya koribo upama. Oh wait, we did just read this. Sorry, I think I accidentally clicked the wrong arrow. Ki kashyapa dasharata vasudeva nanda sarva maya tattva jagannatha mishra chandra. All the good qualities of Kashyapa, Dasharath, Vasudeva, and Nanda Maharaj were found in the person of Jagannath Mishra. Tana. Is that a mistake? Anyways, Tara Patni Shachinama Mahapati Vrata Murtimati Vishnu Bhakti She Jagan Mata. His wife was the most chaste Shachi Devi, the universal mother and personification of devotional service to the Supreme Lord. Bahutara Kanyara Hoilo Tiro Bhav Sabe Eka Putra Vishwarupa Mahabhag. After all her daughters expired, the most fortunate Vishwarup appeared as her son. Let's see the commentary about this. I'm curious to know. Before the Lord's advent, Mother Sachi gave birth to 8 daughters, who all expired. Only Shri Vishwarup was present at the time of the Lord's birth. That's a lot of daughters, my God. Vishwarupa Murti Jaino Abhina Madan Deki Harashita Dui Brahmani Brahman. Rukmini Didi, do you know, I remember Urmila Mataji once posted a question about this, and there's like a whole discussion about this, who the eight daughters were in their previous birth, and like the backstory behind that all. Do you know anything more about that? Or, yeah, I'd be curious to know. Vishwarupa Murti Jaino Abhinna Madan Deki Harashita Dui Brahmani Brahman. Shri Vishwarup was as attractive as Cupid personified. His mother and father were jubilant on seeing him. Commentary. Seeing that Shri Vishwarup was as handsome as Cupid, his father and mother were greatly pleased. Janma hoite Vishwaruper hoilo virakti Shaishabe Shakala Shastrete hoilo spurti. Vishwarup was detached from the time of his birth, and he realized the purport of the scriptures in his very childhood. Vishnu Bhakti Shunya hoilo Sakala Sangsar Pratama Kalite hoilo Bhavishya Achar. As the entire world became devoid of devotion to Lord Vishnu, the future symptoms of Kali began to manifest in the beginning of the age. Vishwarupa Murti Jaino Abhinamadan Deki Harashita Dui Brahmani Brahman. Shri Vishwarup was as attractive as Cupid personified. His mother and father were jubilant on seeing him. Janma hoite Vishwarupera hoilo. Oh my God! I need to stop doing this. Sorry, I'm gonna just do this manually because sometimes it seems like I accidentally go backwards. As the entire world became devoid of... Okay. Vishnu Bhakti Shunya hoilo Sakala Sangsar Pratama Kalite hoilo Bhavishya Achar. As the entire world became devoid of devotion to Lord Vishnu, the future symptoms of Kali began to manifest in the beginning of the age. Dharma tiro babo hoilo Prabhu avatare Bhakta sab dukha pai janiya antare Tabe Mahaprabhu Gora Chandra Bhagavan Shachi Jagannatha Dehe Hoila Adishtan. Maybe I didn't read that verse. It was just so similar to previous verse. Vishwarup was detached from the time of his birth, and he realized the purport of the scriptures in his very childhood. Then the future symptoms of Kali began to manifest in the beginning of the age. Dharma tiro bhavo hoilo Prabhu avatare Bhakta saba dukha pai janiya antare Atabe Mahaprabhu Gora Chandra Bhagavan Sachi Jagannatha Dehe Hoilo Adishtan. Whenever there's a decline in the practice of religious principles, the Lord incarnates. Knowing that the devotees were in distress, Lord Gauranga Chandra Mahaprabhu appeared in the bodies of Jagannath Mishra and Shachi Devi. Jai Jatani Hoilo Ananta Vadane Swapna Pray Jagannatha Mishra Sachi Sune. As Sri Ananta loudly chanted, Jai, Jai, Jagannath Mishra and Shachi Devi heard the sound vibration as if it were a dream. Mahateja Murti Manta Hoila Dui Jane Tatapi Halakite Na Pare Anya Jane. Both husband and wife manifested brilliant spiritual effulgence, which common people could not perceive. Avatirna hoi ben Ishvara Janiya Brahma Shiva Adi Stuti Korena Asiya. Knowing that the Supreme Lord would appear, personalities like Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva came to offer prayers. Ati Mahaveda Gopya Sakala Kata Ihate Sandeha Kichu Nahika Sarvata. All these topics are unknown through the Vedas. Of this there is no doubt. Bhakti Kori Brahma Devera Shunustuti Jai Gopya Shavane Hoy Krishna Rati Mati. Now please hear with devotion the prayers offered by the demigods headed by Brahma. By hearing these prayers, one's mind becomes attached to Krishna. Jaya Jaya Mahaprabhu Janaka Sabar Jaya Jaya Sankirtana Hetu Avatar. All glories to Shriman Mahaprabhu, the father of all living entities. All glories to the Supreme Lord who has incarnated to inaugurate the Sankirtan movement. Jai Jaya Veda Dharma Sadhu Viprapal Jai Jai Abhakta Damana Mahakal. All glories to the protector of Vedic principles, saintly persons and Brahmins. All glories to the personification of time which destroys the non-devotees. Jai Jai Sarva Satya Mahakale Maya Kalevar Jaya Jaya Ichamay Mahamaheshwar. All glories to the Supreme Lord who possesses a pure spiritual body. All glories to the fully independent Supreme Personality of Godhead. Jai Tumi Ananta Koti Brahmandera Vas Shetumi Shishachi Garbe Korila Prakash. You are the shelter of innumerable universes, yet you have entered the womb of Mother Shachi Devi. Tomara je icha ke bhujite tara patra Shrishti Sthiti Pralaya Tomara Lila Matra. Who can understand your supreme will? Creation, maintenance, and annihilation are simply part of your pastimes. Sakala Sangsara Jar Ichaya Sanghare Sheki Kangsa Ravana Barite Vakenare. For one who destroys the entire creation simply by his desire, can he not kill Ravan or Kangsa simply by giving an order? Tatapiha Dasharata Vasudeva Ghare Avatirna Hoya Varila Te Sabare. Still, he appeared in the house of Dasharat and Vasudeva in order to kill them. Eteke ke bhuje Prabhu tomara karahan apane se jano tumi apana raman. Therefore, my Lord, who can understand the cause of your appearance other than you yourself? Tomara agya eka eka seva ke tomar Ananta Brahmanda Pare Korite Udar. By your order, each one of your servants can deliver innumerable universes. Tatapi hatumi she apane avatari Sarva Dharma Bujao Prithvi Dhanya Kori. Still, you incarnate yourself to teach religious principles to all and thus make the earth glorious. Satyajutumi Prabhu Shubhra Varna Dhari tapo dharma bhujao apane tapa kori. O my Lord, in Satya Yuga you have appeared with a white complexion to preach the principles of austerity by your personal example. Krishna Jina Danda Kamandalu Jata Dhari Dharmastapa Brahmachari Rupe Avatari. You wear a deerskin and carry a danda and water pot, and you wear matted locks of hair. In this way, you incarnate as a brahmachari to re-establish the principles of religion. Treta Yuge. Wait 1 second. Okay. Treta Yuge hoya sundara rakta varna hoy jagya purusha bhujao jagya dharma. You appear in Treta Yuga with a beautiful red complexion. Although you are the Lord of sacrifice, you set the example by engaging in the performance of sacrifice. Shruk Sruba Haste Jagya Apane Koriya Sabare Lao Ao Jagya Jagika Hoya. You carry a sacrificial ladle and spoon in your hands and encourage everyone to perform sacrifice. Devya Mega Shama Varna Hoya Dvapare Puja Dharma Pujao Apane Gare Gare. In Dwapara Yuga, you appear with a transcendental blackish complexion that resembles a monsoon cloud. You preach the process of deity worship from house to house. Pitavasa Shivatsadi Nija Chena Dori Puja Koro Maharaja Rupeya Avatari. You wear yellow cloth and you are decorated with the mark of Shivatsa. As a great king, you personally demonstrate the process of deity worship. Kali Juge Vipra Rupe Dori Pita Varna Bhuja Bare Veda Gopya Sankirtana Dharma. You appear in Kali Yuga as a Brahmin with a golden complexion to inaugurate the congregation chanting of the holy names, which is unknown through the Vedas. Kote Kavatomar Ananta Avatar Kara Shakti Ache Iha Sankhya Koribar. Therefore, you are the source of innumerable incarnations. Who has the ability to enumerate all of them? Matsya Rupe Tume Jale Pralaye Vihar Kurma Rupe Tumi Sarva Jivera Adhar. Oops, sorry. In the form of Matsya, you enjoy in the waters of annihilation. In the form of Kurma, you are the shelter of all living entities. Hayagriva Rupe Koro Vede Udhar Ādi-daita Dui Madhu Kaitebe Sanghar. In the form of Hayagriva, you save the Vedas by killing the original demons, Madhu and Kaitab. Shivaraha Rupe Koro Prithvi Udar Narasingha Rupe Koro Hiranya Vidhar. In the form of Varaha, you delivered the earth, and in the form of Nrsimha, you tore apart the demon Hiranyakashipu. Balire Chala Apurva Vamana Rupa Hoy Parshurama Rupe Koro Nikshatriya Mahi. In the wonderful form of Vaman, you deceived Bali Maharaj, and in the form of Parshuram, you rid the earth of Kshatriyas. Ramachandra Rupe Koro Ravana Sanghar Haladara Rupe Koro Ananta Vihar. In the form of Ramachandra, you killed Ravan, and in the form of Balaram, you performed innumerable pastimes. Buddha Rupe Daya Dharma Koroho Prakash Kalki Rupe Korom Lecha Ganera Vinash. In the form of Buddha, you exhibited compassion, and in the form of Kalki, you destroyed the Malechas. Tanvantari Rupe Koro Amrita Pradhan Dhangsa Rupe Brahma Dire Koho Tattva Gyan. In the form of Dhanvantari, you delivered nectar to the demigods, and in the form of Hangsa, you spoke on the absolute truth to Brahma and others. Shri Narada Rupe Bina Dhori Koro Gan, Vyasa Rup Koro Nija Tatira Vyakhyan. Sorry. In the form of Narad, you carry a veena and sing your glories, and in the form of Vyas, you explain the truth about yourself. One second, I just need to send a message. Sarvatirtha lavanya vaidagti kori sange, Krishna rupe vihara gokule bahurange. In the form of Krishna, your unlimited enchanting Gokul pastimes include those of all other incarnations. Hey avatare bhagavata rupa dhori, kirtana koribe sarva shakti parachari. In this incarnation as a devotee, you will invest all your transcendental energies in the performance of kirtan. Sankirtane purna hoibe sakala sangsar, gare gare hoibe prema bhakti parachar. The whole world will be filled with the sounds of Sankirtan, and pure devotional service will be preached from house to house. Ki kohibo prithivira ananda prakash, Tumi nrita koribe mi liya sarvadas. How can we describe the happiness that this earth planet will enjoy when you dance along with your servants? Jai tomara para parma nitya dhyana kore, dāsa bara pabave amangala hare. The mere presence of those who constantly meditate on your lotus feet vanquishes all auspiciousness. Padatale khande priti vira amangal, drishti matra dashadika hoy sunirmal. As such persons dance, the touch of their lotus feet destroys all the inauspiciousness of the world. By their glance, the 10 directions are purified. Bahutuli nachite swargera vegnanash, heno jasha heno nrita heno toradas. Such are your glories, such is the dancing, and such are your servants that, when they dance with their arms raised, the disturbances in the heavenly planets are destroyed. Padbhyam bhumer dishodrigbhyam dorbhyam chamangalam diva bahudotsadyate rajan Krishna bhakta nrityata. My dear king, where is this from? This is from Padma Puran and Hari Bhakti Shuddhodaya. My dear king, when Krishna's devotees dance in kirtan, they destroy the inauspiciousness of the earth by the touch of their feet, the directions by their glance, and the higher planetary systems by their upraised arms. She Prabhu apane tume shakshatai hoya, Koriba kirtana prema bhakti goshti loya, E mahima Prabhu varni barakara shakti, Tumi bilai bhaveda gopya Vishnu bhakti. O Lord, you will personally appear and perform kirtan with your pure devotees. O Lord, who has the power to describe your glories? You will distribute devotional service to Lord Vishnu that is unknown through the Vedas. O Lord Gaurasundar, you are the non-different golden form of the son of the king of Raj. You will appear in this world along with your associates and enjoy the pastimes of distributing love of God through the process of kirtan. Mukti diya je bhakti rako ho gopya kori, Ami sabar je namite abhilasha kori. You easily award liberation, but you keep devotional service hidden. We have a desire to attain that devotional service. Oh God, I'm starting to get tired. Jagatera Prabhu tumi dibahena da, Tomara karunya sabe ihara karan. O Lord, you will freely distribute the treasure of devotional service throughout the world, simply due to your causeless mercy. Jai Tomara Name Prabhu Sarva Jagya Purna. Tomi hoila Navadipa Avatirna. By the chanting of whose holy names all sacrifices are performed, that Lord has now appeared in Navadip. E kripa koro Prabhu hoya sadoy, jeno ama sabara dekhite bhagya hoy. O Lord, please be merciful to us, so that we may have the fortune to see your pastimes. Eto dine gangara puri lo manorata, Tomi krira koriba je chira abhimata. The long cherished desire of the Ganges will now be fulfilled when you sport in her waters. Je tomare yogeshvara sabe deke dhyane, she tumi vidita hoibe navadipa grame. You who are seen through the yogi's meditation as Yogeshwar will now be seen in the village of Navadip. Navadipa pratiyotha ka namaskar, Shachi Jagannatha Grihe Jata Avatar. We therefore offer our respectful obeisances to Sri Navadip, where the Lord appeared, and the house of Sri Shachi, and I offer obeisances to the Lord of Sri Ramshara. Oh, sorry, Hare Krishna. I just fell asleep. And I had a dream. What the heck? We therefore offer our respectful obeisances to Sri Navadip, where the Lord appeared in the house of Shachi Devi and Jagannath. I was about to say Ramshara Prabhu and Janaki Mataji and go through them. Whoa, that was wild. Okay. E matamadi devata pratidine gupte rahi ishvarera korenastavane. In this way, the demigods headed by Lord Brahma would daily offer prayers in seclusion. Shachi garbe varse sarva bhuvane ravas, falguni purnima asi hoilo prakash. The Lord, who is the shelter of verses, remained in the womb of Shachi Devi until the Falguna Purnima gradually approached. Ananta Brahmande Jata Ache Sumangal, She Purnimaya Asi Milila Sakal. All the auspicious symptoms present throughout the unlimited universes appeared together on that full moon night. Sankirtana Sahita Prabhura Avatar, Grahanera Chale Taha Korena Prachar. Thus the Lord simultaneously appeared along with the congregational chanting of the holy names, which he inaugurated on the pretext of the lunar eclipse. Ishvarera karma puji bara shakti koi, Chandre acha dilo rahu Ishvara ichai. Who has the power to understand the activities of the Lord? By his desire, Rahu covered the moon. Sarva Navadipe deke hoilo grahan, Utila mangala tvani Shri Hari Kirtan. When the inhabitants of Navadip saw the eclipse, they began to chant the auspicious names of Hari. Ananta Arbuda Loka Gangasnane Jai, Hari Bol, Boli Sabe Thai. Millions of people went to take bath in the Ganges while chanting Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Heno Hari Dani Hoilo Sarvana Diyai, Brahmanda Puriya Dwani Stana Nahi Pai. The whole of Navadip was filled with the sound vibration of the name of Hari. Indeed, the sound vibration filled the entire universe and beyond. Apurva Shuniya Sabha Bhagavata Gan, Sabe Bole Nirantara Hok Grahan. Hearing this wonderful vibration, all the devotees remarked, let there be a perpetual eclipse. Usually eclipse is an inauspicious thing, but the devotees are praying now a perpetual eclipse. Sabe bole aji boro basiye ulas, heno bji ki ba Krishna korila prakash. All the devotees said, from the great happiness that we are feeling today, it can be understood that Krishna must have appeared. Ganga snane chalila sakala bhaktagan niravadi chaturdika haris chaturdike hari sankirtan. As the devotees all went to take bath in the Ganges, the vibration of the name of Hari was continually heard from all directions. Kiva shishu vridanari sajana durjan sabe hari bole dekhiya graha. Whether one was young, old, a woman, pious or impious, everyone was engaged in chanting the name of Hari while observing the eclipse. Hari bola sabe shuni sakala brahmande vyapi leka hari tane. All one could hear was Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Thus the name of the Lord Hari was heard throughout the entire universe. Chaturdike pushpa vrishti kore devagan jai shabde dundu biba jai anukhan. The demigods showered flowers on all directions, and they played kettle drums as they chanted Jai, Jai. He noy samay sarva jagata jivan avatirna hoile Shisachinandan. Let's sing that one more time. Ahe noy samay sarva jagata jivan avatirna hoile Shisachinandan. At that very moment, the life of all living entities, Shri Sachinandan, made his appearance. Shri Sachinandan, Gaura Hari Ki Jai. Rahu Kavale in. Oh, sorry. Rahu Kavale Indu, Parakasha Nama Sindhu, Kali Mardana Baje Bana. Pahu Bhela Parakash, Bhuvana Chaturadash, Jai Jai Porila Goshana. Jai Jai Porilo Goshana. When the moon was covered by Rahu, when the ocean of the holy names was manifest, when Kali was subdued, when the flag of victory was raised, at that time, the Supreme Lord appeared, and the 14 worlds filled with the sound of Jai, Jai. Dekite Gauranga Chandra Nadiyara Loka Shoka Saba Nashala Dine Dine Adine Dine Paralo Ananda Dekite Gauranga Chandra. The happiness of the people of Nadia daily increased, and their lamentation was vanquished as they saw the moon-like Lord Gauranga. Dundube baje shata shanka gaje baje venu. Oh, sorry. Dundubi baje shata shanka gaje baje venu vishana. Shri Caitanya Ṭhākura Nityananda Prabhu Vṛndāvana dāsa gan. Vṛndāvana dāsa gan. Vṛndāvana dāsa gan. Kettle drums were sounded, hundreds of conch shells were blown, and flutes and horns were played. In this way, Vrindavan Das Thakur sings the glory of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Sri Nityananda Prabhu. Ravi Jini Ravi Kara Shiyanga Sundara Nayane Herai Na Pari Ajata Lochana Ishata Bankima Upama Nahi Kavichari. The Lord's beautiful bodily features cannot be perceived, for they outshine the rays of the sun. His broad eyes, which were upturned at the ends, have no comparison. They're upturned at the ends, like a lotus. The words Jiniya Ravikara means defeating or conquering the sun's rays. Aju Vijaya Gauranga Avani Mandale Jodike Shuniya Ulas Ekahari Dwani Abrahma Bhari Shuni Gauranga Chandera Parakash Gauranga Chandera Parakash. Due to the appearance of Shri Gauranga in this world, the sound vibration of Hari's name spread throughout the universe up to Brahma Loka. Chandane Ujjvala Bhaksha Parisara Dolaye Tativana Mala Chanda Shushitala Shimukha Mandala Ajano Bahu Vishala. The Lord's broad chest is smeared with bright sandalwood pulp and decorated with a flower garland. The Lord's sweet face is as soothing as the full moon, and his long arms stretch to his knees. Dekhiya Caitanya-bhāgavata dhanya dhanya uthaye jai nada. Koi nachata koi gayata Kali hoilo harishe vishar. Kali hoilo harishe vishar. All the living entities of the world are blessed to Shri Chaitanya. Some dance, some chant, and some loudly exclaim, Jai, Jai. Kali, however, feels sad and laments. Chari Veda Shira Mukuta Chaitanya Pamara Muda Nahi Jane Shri Caitanya Chandra Nitai Ṭhākura Vṛndāvana dāsa gane. Shri Chaitanya is the crown on the head of the four Vedas, but sinful and foolish people cannot understand this. Śrīla Vṛndāvana Das Ṭhākura sings the glories of Shri Chaitanya Chandra and Shri Nityananda Prabhu. Prakasha hoila gora. How do we sing this? Prakasha hoilo gora chandra dasha dike utila ananda. Dasha dike utila ananda. I don't know how to sing it. As Shri Gaura Chandra appeared, the 10 directions became filled with bliss. Rupa koti madana janiya hase nija kirtana shuniya. The Lord's beauty defeats that of millions of cupids. He laughs upon hearing his holy names and chanted. Ati sumudara mukha aki maharaja china sabadeki. The Lord's face and eyes are most sweet, and his body is decorated with the signs of a king. Shri charane dvaja vajra shobe saba ange jaga manalobe. His lotus feet are marked with a flag and a thunderbolt. All his limbs the minds of all people. Dure gelo sakala apar vyakta hoilo sakala sampada. By his advent, danger is vanquished and all prosperity is manifested. Shri Caitanya Nityananda Jana Vṛndāvana dāsa gunagan. Accepting Shri Chaitanya and Nityananda Prabhu as my life and soul, I, Vrindavan Das, sing the glories of their lotus feet. Caitanya avatara shunya deva gana Uttilo parama mangala re Sakala tapahara Shimukha chandra dekhi Anande hoilo vivala re Anande hoilo vivala re. Hearing that Lord Chaitanya has incarnated, all the demigods became overjoyed. They are overwhelmed with ecstasy on seeing the Lord's face, which destroys all misery. Ananta Brahma Shiva Ādi-khaṇḍa Jata Deva Sabe Nara Rupa Dori Re Gayane Hari Hari Grahana Chala Kori Lakhite Keho Nahi Pari Re. Ananta, Brahma, Shiva, and other demigods accept the form of human beings and chant Hari Hari on the pretext of the eclipse. No one, however, can recognize them. Dāsa ke dhai, loka nadiyai, bolia ut hari hari re, manushe deve meli, ekatra hoya keli, anande navadipa puri re. The people of Nadia run in 10 directions while loudly chanting, Hari, Hari! The demigods and human beings mix together, and the whole of Navadip is filled with ecstasy. I love that they're running around in the 10 directions. Sachira angane sakala deva gane pranama hoya parilare grahanera andakare lakite ke honare durge chetanera khelare. All the demigods come to the courtyard of Shachi Devi and offer obeisances. Due to the darkness of the eclipse, no one can recognize them. Such are the mysterious pastimes of Sri Chaitanya. Keho porestuti, kaharo hate chati, keho chamara dhulaire, parama harishe, keho pushpa varishe, keho nache, keho gai bayare. Some demigods offer prayers. Someone holds an umbrella, another waves a chamar. Some happily shower flowers, others dance, and some play musical instruments. Sabhabhakta sange kori aila gora hari bashandi kichui na jane re. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Vṛndāvana dāsa rasa gana re. Lord Gaurahari descended along with his devotees, but the atheists did not understand a thing. Accepting Sri Chaitanya and Nityananda Prabhu as my life and soul, I, Vrindavan Das, sing the glories of their Lord. Let me just check everything's going okay. All right, looks like it. Dundu bidindima mangala jaya dvani Gaya madura rasala re re Vedera agochar aji betava Vilambe nahi ara kala re. The demigods play kettle drums and didima drums, chant the auspicious sounds of Jai, and sing in sweet melodies. The demigods think, today we will see the Lord who is unknown through the Vedas. Therefore, let us not waste time. Ande Indrapura Mangala Kolahalo Sajo Sajo Boli Sajo Re Bahuta Punya Bhage Chaitanya Parakasha Paulo Navadipa Majere. In this way, the residents of Amaravati are in ecstasy in the heavenly planets, right? In this way, I'm guessing. And a commotion rises as they decorate themselves to go see the Lord. Due to our great fortune, we will see Sri Chaitanya in Navadvip. The word Indrapur refers to Amaravati. So this is where Indra is. Anyonye alingan, chumbana gana gan. Kissing each other. Laja keho nahi mane re. Nadia Purandar Janama Ullase Apana Paro nahi jane re. Being overjoyed on the birth of the Lord of Nadia, the demigods repeatedly embrace and kiss each other without reservation or consideration of whether one is afraid or if one is a friend or a stranger. Just running around and kissing strangers, that's how happy they are. Aicha no kotu ke aila navadipe chodike shuni amare paya gora rasa bivala parava Caitanya jai jai gana. In this joyous condition, they come to Navadvip and hear the sound vibration of Hari's name from all sides. There they taste Gaura's ecstatic emotions and become overwhelmed as they sing his glories. Dilo shachi grihe Gauranga sundare ekatra jaiche koti chandare manusha rupa dhori grahana chala kori balaye ucha hari namare. There in Shachi's house, they see the beautiful form of Lord Gauranga, who resembles millions of moons combined together. In the guise of human beings, and on the pretext of the eclipse, they all loudly chant the name of Hari. Sakala Shakati Sange Aila Gaura Chandra Pashandi Kichui Na Jane Re Shri Chaitanya Nityananda Chanda Prabhu Jana Vṛndāvana dāsa rasa gana re. Shri Gaurachandra appears along with his energies, but the atheist could not understand a thing. Accepting Shri Chaitanya and Nityananda Prabhu as my life and soul, I, Vrindavan Das, sing the glories of their lotus feet. Thus ends the English translation of the Gaudiya Bhashya of Sri Caitanya-bhāgavata Chapter 2, entitled The Lord's Appearance. Jai Sachinandan Gaura Hari Ki Jai. How about maybe let's sing the Nadia Udayagiri song. Let me just open it up. Where do I have it? God. Let me find it really quick. There it is. Nadia Udayagiri printout. Oh shoot, no, I made changes and I forgot to click save. So this isn't the... whatever, it doesn't matter. I don't think there were huge changes I made. Let's read the translation first, and then we can read the Bengali. How's that? Then we'll know what we're singing. Let me just check everything. Everything's running well. Rupmandri Didi. Well, anyways, we're going to sing Nadia Udayagiri. And right now, it's that time for you, isn't it? It's evening time. Okay. Oh my God, my laptop's almost out of battery. I think it will last. Yeah, whatever. God. Okay, so let's start. What? Okay. The full moon of Shri Gaur Hari mercifully rose over Nadia, likened to the mountain Udayagiri. And this is all from... Oops, I forgot to put the chapter. I think it's 12, isn't it? I think it's chapter 12. Oops, I forgot to put that in the finished thing though. Anyways, whatever. The full moon of Shri Gaur Hari mercifully rose over Nadia. This is Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela. I think chapter 12, verses 98 to verses 124. The full moon of Shri Gaur Hari mercifully rose over Nadia, likens to the mountain Udayagiri, from where the sun rises. As the universe was filled with the chanting of the holy name of Shri Hari, the darkness of sinful life dissipated and the three worlds became jubilant. At that time, Shri Advaita Acharya in his own house in Shantipur stood up and began to dance, completely overjoyed. Oh, and I divided it in between to match the Bengali. This is our own translation, by the way. Srivas and I translated it. Accompanied by Sri Haridas Thakur, he roared in the exultation of kirtan. No one knew why they were dancing. Seeing the lunar eclipse and laughing, Advaita Acharya and Haridas Thakur quickly arrived at the bank of the Ganga, where, in ecstasy, they bathed. Under the pretext of the eclipse, Advaita Acharya distributed abundant charity to the Brahmins by the strength of his mind. Upon seeing the entire universe overflowing with joy, Haridas Thakur's heart was struck with wonder. Through his gestures, he expressed to Advaita Acharya, "Your jubilance is delighting my heart. It appears that some special fortune is upon us." Acharya Ratna, Chandrasekhar, and Srivas Thakur were also elated at heart. At the Ganga, they bathed in her waters. With hearts overwhelmed with joy, they performed Hari Sankirtan and mentally distributed profuse amounts of charity. In this way, devotee sannyasis in various places, wherever they happened to be, intuited what had transpired. This is from Srila Bharati Maharaj's translation, because jati could have meant, bhakta jati could have meant just all the devotees. But he said it was sannyasis, so whatever. They danced in Sankirtan, their hearts overwhelmed with joy, and they distributed charity on the pretext of the eclipse. The Brahmins, gentlemen, and their wives all came with plates filled with gifts and various presentations. Seeing the form of the newborn child who was radiant like pure gold, they happily offered their blessings. Savitri, Gauri, Saraswati, Shachi, Ramba, Arundhati, and all other demigoddesses assumed the guise of the wives of Brahmins and filled vessels with various types of gifts. They all came there and beheld the child. In the sky, the demigods, Siddhas, Gandharvas, and Charanas offered prayers, danced to the accompaniment of musical instruments and song. In Navadip, dancers, musicians, minstrels, and other performers all came and danced in great delight. Who was going, who was dancing, and who was singing? No one could understand, nor could they understand what anyone was saying. All sorrow and suffering melted away, and everyone became filled with joy. Seeing everything, Jagannath Mishra was overwhelmed with ecstasy. Acharya Ratna and Srivas Thakur came to Jagannath Mishra and carefully helped him perform the birth rituals. Thereafter, Jagannath Mishra distributed many types of charity. Whatever gifts Jagannath Mishra had received and whatever he had in his house, he distributed all his wealth to the Brahmins. He also honored all the dancers, singers, and minstrels, and the poor by donating riches to them. The chaste wife of Srivas Thakur, named Malini, accompanied by the wife of Acharya Ratna, worshipped the baby with vermilion, turmeric, oil, puffed rice, bananas, and many other kinds of fruit in great delight. The wife of Advaita Acharya, a noble woman adored by all and renowned as Sita Thakurani, went to see the crest jewel of children at the Acharya's behest with various gifts. She brought a gold belt, silver toe rings, gold armlets, bracelets, sacred conch shell bangles for both hands, silver anklets and necklaces made of gold coins, tiger nails set in gold, a silken waist belt, every kind of ornament for the hands and feet, multicolored silken saris, a small woven sleeveless jacket, silken shawls, gold and silver coins, and many other riches. Bringing a container filled with fresh grass paddy, gorochana, turmeric, kumkum, sandalwood, and other auspicious items, as well as a large basket filled with garments and ornaments. She rode on a palanquin covered with cloth and was accompanied by her maidservants. She arrived at the house of Shachi Devi, bringing with her a large load of snacks, treats, and other edibles and gifts. Upon seeing the form of the child, she understood that, except for a difference in color, he was directly Krishna of Gokul himself. All his limbs were beautifully framed, glowing with a golden effulgence, and they displayed auspicious signs. Seeing the divine effulgence of the child, Sita Thakurani and the other ladies accompanying her became enamored, and their hearts melted with motherly love. They gave many blessings to the newborn child and his brother Vishwarup. By placing fresh grass and paddy on their heads while saying, "May you two brothers live long." Chirajivi, right? Chirijivi Ho, to ward off any fear of ghosts and witches because of the eclipse. She gave him the name Nimai after the neem tree. She gave him the name Nimai after the neem tree he was born under. So that was Sita Thakurani, Advaita Arya's wife, who gave Nimai the name Nimai. On the day the mother and son bathed, on the day the mother and son bathed and left the maternity house, Sita Thakurani honored the Mishras and their son by giving them various garments and ornaments. Then having received the respects of both Shachi Devi and feeling very joyful at heart, she returned home. In this way, Shachi Devi and Jagannath Mishra, having obtained the husband of the god of fortune as their son, had all their desires fulfilled. Seeing their whole of riches and grains, and graced by the venerable form of their son, their delight grew with each passing day. One second, I'm just going to plug in my computer. No, I'll finish reading and then I'll plug it in. Jagannath Mishra was an ideal Vaishnav, peaceful, regulated, pure, and composed. He was not inclined to indulge in material opulence. Whatever wealth he received due to the birth of his darling boy, he distributed in charity to the Brahmins for the satisfaction of Lord Vishnu. After making the astrological calculations, Nilambar Chakravarti became pleased and spoke something in private to Jagannath Mishra. Nilambar Chakravarti said, "On his body and in his astrological chart, this boy has all the signs of a great personality. I see that he will deliver the material universe." In this way, the Lord mercifully made his advent in the house of Shachi Devi. The most compassionate Sri Gaur Hari shall bestow his mercy on that person who hears this narration. That person shall then attain Sri Lotus feet. The birth of one who has attained a human form but who does not hear the glories of Sri Gaur Hari is utterly useless. Despite having attained a river of nectar, he drinks water from a poisonous pit. Why didn't he simply die at birth? That is so strong. Placing the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu, Acharya Advaita Chandra, Sarup Damodar, Rupa Goswami, and Raghunath Das Goswami upon his head, regarding them as his own wealth. This Krishnadas has thus described the Advent pastime of Lord Gaur Sundar. Okay, 1 second, I'm just plugging in my laptop. Is it plugged in? Yes, it is. What the heck does this go to? Oh. Okay. Oh. All right. So this is what we sing during Abhishek in the Mat. Let me just check everything's working. All right, looks like it. Oh, it's chapter 13. Okay, so this is chapter 13. Nadiya Udayagiri Purna Chandra Gaura Hari Kripa Kori Hoilo Udoy Papotamo Hoilo Nash Chi Jagatera Ulas Jagabori Hari Dani Hoy Shekale Nijaloy Utiya Advaita Rai Nritta Kore Anandita Mane Haridas Loya Sange Hunkara Kirtana Range Kene Nache Ke Ho Nahi Jane Dekhi Upara Gahasi Shigra Gate Asi Anande Ko Ganga Snana পায়া উপরাগ ছলে আপনার মন বলে ব্রাহ্মণের দিল নানা দান। জগত আনন্দময় দেখি মনে সুবিস্ময় থারে ঠোরে কহে হরিদাস। তোমার ऐछन রঙ্গ মোর মন পরসন দেখি কিছু কারে আছে ভাষা। আচার্য রত্ন শ্রীনিবাস হইল মানে সুকলাস যায় স্নান কইল গঙ্গা জলে আনন্দে বিবল মান করে হরি সংকীর্তন নানা দান কইল মানো বলে। এ মত ভক্ত জাতি যার যে দেশে স্থিতি তাহা তাহা পায় মানো বলে করে সংকীর্তন আনন্দে বিবল মান দান করে গ্রহণের ছলে। ব্রাহ্মণ সজ্জন নারী নানা দ্রব্যে থালি ভরি আইল সবে যৌতুক লইয়া যেন কাঁচ সোনা দ্যুতি দেখি বালকের মূর্তি আশীর্বাদ করে সুখ পাইয়া। সাবিত্রী গৌরী সরস্বতী সচিরম্ব অরুন্ধতী আর যত দেব নারী গণ নানা দ্রব্যে পাত্র ভরি ব্রাহ্মণীর বেশ ধরি আসি সবে করেন দর্শন। অন্তরিক্ষে দেবগণ গন্ধর্ব সিদ্ধ চারণ স্তুতি নৃত্য করে বাদ্য গীত নর্তক বাদক ভাট নবদ্বীপে যার নাত সবে আসি নাচে পায় প্রিয়। কে বা আসে কে বা যায় কে বা নাচে কে বা গায় সম্বলিতে নারে কার বলো কান্দিলে ক দুঃখ শোক প্রমোদ পূরিত লোক মিশ্র হইল আনন্দে বিবাহ। আচার্য রত্ন শ্রীনিবাস জগন্নাথ মিশ্র পাস আসি তারে করাবধান করাইল জাত কর্ম যে আছিল বিধি ধর্ম তবে মিশ্র করে নানা দান। যৌতুক পাইল যত ঘরে বা আছিল কত সব ধন বিপ্রে দিল দান। যত নাটক গায়ন ভাটা আখিচন জান দান দিয়া কইলা সবার মান। শির ব্রহ্মণী নাম তার শিমালিনী আচার্য রত্নের পত্নী সঙ্গে সিন্দুর হরিদ্র তৈল খায় কলা নানা ফল দিয়া পূজা নারী গণ রঙ্গে। অদ্বৈত আচার্য ভার্য জগৎ পূজিত আর্য নাম তার সীতা ঠাকুরানী। আচার্যের আজ্ঞা পায়া গেলা উপহার লয়া দেখিতে বালক শিরোমণি। সুবর্ণের করি বলি রজত মুদ্রা রজত সুবর্ণের করি বলি রজত মুদ্রা পাশুলি সুবর্ণের অঙ্গদ কাঙ্কান দু বাহুতে দিব্য শঙ্খ রজতের মালা বঙ্ক স্বর্ণ মুদ্রার নানা হার গান স্বর্ণ মুদ্রার নানা হার গান। ব্যাঘ্র ন কহে মজারি কটিপট সূত্র ধরি হস্তপদের যত আভরণ চিত্রবর্ণ পট শাড়ি বুনি ফোটো ফট পারি স্বর্ণ রৌপ্য মুদ্রা বহুদান। দুর্বধান্য গৌরচান হরিদ্র কুঙ্কুম চন্দন मंगल द्रव्य पात्र भरिया मंगल द्रव्य पात्र भरिया वस्त्र गुप्त तोला छड़ी संगे लोया दासी छेड़ी বস্ত্রালঙ্কার পিতারি ভরিয়া ভক্ষ ভোজ উপহার সঙ্গে লয়া বাহুভার সাচি গৃহে হইল উপনীত দেখিয়া বালক ঠাম সাক্ষাৎ গোকুলকান বর্ণমাত্র দেখি বিপরীত सर्व अंग सुनिर्माण सुवर्ण प्रतिमा भान सर्व अंग सुलक्षण मोय बालकेर दिव्य ज्योति देखी पाइल बहु प्रीति वात्सल्यते द्रविल हृदय दुर्बधन्य दिल शीर्षे कइल बहु आशीषे चिरजीवी हौ दुई भाई डाकिनी शाकिनी होते शंका उपजिल चिते डारे नाम थुइल निमाय डारे नाम थुइल नीता निमाय पुत्र माता स्नान दिले दिल वस्त्र विभूषणे पुत्र सह मिश्रे समाने साची मिश्र पूजा लोया मानेते हरीश होया घरे आयला सीता ठाकुराने आईचे जगन आईचे साची जगन्नाथ पुत्र पायला लक्ष्मीनाथ पूर्ण होइल सकल वंचित धन धान्य भरे घर लोकमान्य काले पर दिने दिने होय आनंदित ओ दिने दिने होय आनंदित मिश्र वैष्णव शांत अलंपत शुद्ध दंत धन भोगे नाही अभिमान पुत्रेर प्रभावे जत धन आसी मिले तत विष्णु प्रीते द्विजे देन दान लग्न कानी हर्षमती नीलंबर चक्रवर्ती गुप्ते किचु कहिल मिश्रे रे महापुरुषे रचना लग्ने अंगे भिन्न भिन्न देखी ए तारी बे संसारे ओ देखी ए तारी बे संसारे आयचे प्रभु साची घरे कृपा कोइलो अवतारे जे इहा करो ए श्रवण गौर प्रभु दयामय तार होइन् सदय से पाय ताहार चरण ओ गौर प्रभु दयामय तारे होइन् सदय से पाय ताहार चरण आया मनुष्य जन्म जे न शुने गौर गुण हेनो जन्म तार व्यर्थ होइल पाया अमृत ध्वनि पिए विष गर्त पानी जन्मिए से केन नाही मोइल अजानिया से केन नाही मोइल श्री चैतन्य नित्यानंद आचार्य अद्वैत चंद्र स्वरूप रूप रघुनाथ दास इह सबर्षि चरण शिरे वंदिने जदान इह सबर्षि चरण शिरे वंदिने जदान जन्म लीला गायलो कृष्ण दास 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 जय सच्चिदानंद जय गौर हरि 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 गौर 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 हरि गौर 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 हरि जय सच्चिदानंद जय गौर हरि जय सच्चिदानंद जय गौर हरि विष्णु प्रिय प्राणदान नादिया बिहारी विष्णु प्रिय प्राणदान नादिया बिहारी साची मातार प्राणदान नादिया बिहारी साची मातार प्राणदान नादिया बिहारी जय सच्चिदानंद Jai Gaura Hari, Jai Sachinandana, Jai Gaura Hari, Nityananda Pranadhana Sankirtan Bihari, Nityananda Pranadhana Sankirtan Bihari, Jai Sachinandana, Jai Gaura Hari, Jai Sachinandana, Jai Gaura Hari, Gadadhara Pranadhana Sankirtan Bihari, Gadadhara Pranadhana Sankirtan Bihari. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. Oh, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram. Oh, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Nityananda Ram, Nityananda Ram, Nityananda Ram, Jaya Nityananda Ram, Jaya Nityananda Ram, Nityananda Ram, Nityananda Ram, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Sapashara Gora Hare, Sapashara Jaya Gora Hare, Jaya Sapashara Jaya Gora Hare, Sapashara Jaya Gora, Jaya Sachinandan Gora Hare, Sachinandan Jaya Gora Hare, Sachinandan Gora Hare, Sachinandan Jaya Gora Hare, Gora He, Gora He, Gora He, Gora He, oh Gora He, Gora He, Gora He, Gora He. Gaur Nityananda Jaya, Gaur Nityananda, Gaur Nityananda Jaya, Gaur Nityananda Jaya, Gaur Gadadhar, Gaur Gadadhar, Gaur Gadadhar Jaya, Gaur Gadadhar Jaya, Gurudeva Jaya, Gurudeva Jaya, Gurudeva Jaya, Gurudeva Jaya, Patita Pavana Gurudeva Jaya, Patita Pavana Gurudeva Jaya, Prabhupada Jaya, Prabhupada, Prabhupada Jaya, Prabhupada Jaya, Jagat Guru Śrīla Prabhupada, Jagat Guru Śrīla Prabhupada Jaya, Navadipa Dham Jaya, Vrindavan Jaya, Mayapura Dham, Navadipa Dham Jaya, Mayapura Dham, Jaya Navadipa Jaya, Mayapura Jaya, Navadipa Jaya, Mayapura. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaur Hari Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, 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 Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Jai Shri Sachinandan Gaura Hari Ki Jai, Shri Gaura Janmotsava Ki Jai, Shri Jagannath Mishra Ki Jai, Shri Sachi Maya Ki Jai, Shri Mayapur Dham Ki Jai, Jai Shri Guru Gauranga Gandharvika Giridhari, Shri Radha Vinod Bihari Ju Ki Jai, Shri Govana Gopinath Madan Mohan Ju Ki Jai, Shri Gaura Gopala Ki Jai, Shri Nimai Pandit Ki Jai, Shri Nitil Vishnu Vishnupada Shutarashata Shmar Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj Śrīla Gurudev ki jai, Nityal Pavishram Vishnupad Ashtatarashatashmar Bhakti Vedanta Vaman Goswami Maharaj ki jai, Nityal Pavishram Vishnupad Ashtatarashatashmar Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai, Nityal Pavishram Vishnupad Ashtatarashatashmar Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj ki jai, Swa Parshad Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai, Śrīla Prabhupada Parishad Gan ki jai, Nityal Pavishram Vishnupad Ashtatarashatashmar Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada ki jai, Nityal Pavishram Maha-bhagavat Śrīla Gokishora Babaji Maharaj ki jai, Nityal Pavishram Śrīla Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Ṭhākura ki jai, Nityal Pavishram Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Śrīla Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj ki jai, Shri Rupano Gauriya Guru Varga ki jai, Shri Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath, Shri Jiva Gopal Bhattadash, no, I'll do full jai Dvani. Shri Baladevi Jibhushan Prabhu ki jai, Śrīla Vishwanath Chakravarti Ṭhākura ki jai, Shri Natham Srinivas Shamananda Prabhu Trai ki jai, Śrīla Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Prabhu ki jai, Shri Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath, Shri Jiva Gopal Bhattadash Raghunath, Shard Goswami Prabhu ki jai, Shri Sarup Damodar Rai Ramanandari Shri Gaur Parshad Vrinda ki jai, Namachay Śrīla Haridas Ṭhākura ki jai, Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar, Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Shri Kshetra Mandala, Gaura Mandala, Vraja Mandala, Mathura Vrindavan Dham ki jai, Abhinna Vrindavan Shri Navadip Dham ki jai, Shri Antardip Mayapur ki jai, Shri Yogapit Mayapur ki jai, Shri Shri Giriraj Maharaj ki jai, Shri Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi ki jai, Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai, Shri Yamuna Devi Ganga Devi ki jai, Shri Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi ki jai, Shri Purnamasi Yogamaya ki jai, Shri Gopeshwar Mahadev ki jai, Shri Kali Yuga Pavan Avatari Shri Sachinandan Gaur Hari ki jai, Vishwambar ki jai, Shri Tadiya Shubha Avirbhav Titi ki jai, Shri Gaur Janmotsav ki jai, Gaur Purnima Mahamahotsav ki jai, Shri Gaur Purnima Titi Palankari Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, sorry guys, Shri Shachi Maya ki jai, Shri Jagannath Mishra ki jai, Shri Vishwarup ki jai, Shri Lakshmi Priya ki jai, Shri Vishnu Priya ki jai, Shri Gaur Parshad Vrinda ki jai, Shri Sachinandan Gaur Hari ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo. Jai Vrindai Tulsi Devai Priyai Keshavashacha Krishna Bhakti Paradevi Sattvatai Namo Namaha Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyai Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Shri Panchatattvatmak Shri Krishna Chaitanya ki jai. Alright, Dandavat Pranams everybody. Thank you so much for joining me in this reading. And yeah, Jai Shri Sachinandan Gaur Hari. Now we are finished with all of our readings. We've finished the 8th canto of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. We finished Navadip Mahatma. We read today from Caitanya Charitamrita. So tomorrow, I don't know what I'm going to do. Should we start the 9th canto tomorrow, Śrīmad Bhāgavatam? Or should we read something beforehand? I do have to proofread this book. I don't need to do it during live though. Or I could do it live at a different time of the day also. But there's this book, The Pinnacle of Devotion, which is about Sachinandan Gaur Hari. Maybe that's good to read now. Anyways, if you guys give me feedback, I will go with whatever the majority of everybody says. So, and if there's a tie, then we'll just have to figure it out. Maybe I'll choose what thing to read next. But don't suggest anything that's way too long. Like I can read a small book, maybe a book that thick, not like a big fat book, because I do want to start Śrīmad Bhāgavatam again. If I should start tomorrow, let me know, Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. All right, Dandavat Pranams, Indira Mataji, Rukmini Didi, Rup Manjari Didi, and so many people, too many people to name everybody. Savitri, Dandavat Pranams. Anyways, thank you so much for joining me in this. See you all tomorrow. Jai Shri Sachinandan Gaur Hari. And I'll offer a pranam for all of you here in Navadip Dham. Actually, I'm going to be going to Mayapur this evening. There's going to be a little program at Jai Shri and Kishore's place. And so, yeah, I'm going to go for that. So I'll offer pranam on all of your behalf, on behalf of all of you, at Yoga Pit Mayapur this evening. Jai Shri Radhe. All right, 2 people said pinnacle of devotion. Great. So I'm going to do that then. And pinnacle of devotion isn't so long, so it'll only take a few days. It won't take very long at all. And then I got 2 things done at once. I'll have proofread the book and it can go to the printers, and yeah, I've done my morning readings every day. Oh, one more thing I want to say before you go. So we have this Gaudiya Kirtan mailing list, and we sent out this Janma Leela song of Mahaprabhu to everybody, and it went to most people's spam folder for some reason. And anyway, for a long time, I've been wanting to make my own mailing list, just where I write different articles on different topics, find different quotes from different places on different subjects, and just any thoughts that I have. Also, I want to restart a shloka program, and many different things, our readings. Yeah, I just want to have a mailing list to be able to send stuff to you all personally, individually. And you can easily respond to the email, and it goes straight to my email, and we can be in communication. So I want to start that today. Today is an auspicious day to start. Today's the day that I started the Gaudiya Kirtan mailing list. So today I'm going to start my own personal mailing list. And so once I have that all ready, I can send you all the link to subscribe if you'd like to join. Otherwise, you can just send me your email, and I can add you in manually also. So either way works. If you want to, yeah. All right. Jai Shri Radhe. Oh, and Papa Tarini Mataji is here. Dandavat pranams. And Madhu Mangal Prabhu. Dandavat pranams. Haribo. Shukra Mata. Haribo. Okay. Dandavat pranams, everybody. See you all tomorrow for Pinnacle of Devotion.